This is question 6. Isn't that just the same as saying God did it? You're not answering the question, nor are you admitting you don't know the answer. You're simply filling in your ignorance by giving an unreliable answer based on an assumption.
Again, you're trying to put people in the small box in which you live in. And I think that's sad. Alright. I'm going to try to find a way to skip past these. No, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and answer the rest of your question 6, even though I don't fall under the categories.
Which brings us to question 6A. Can you predict the future?
Yes. Yes, I can. You are going to take a nourishment tomorrow. I am going to see my wife tomorrow. I have 4 cats who I am going to need to clean their litter box tomorrow. I have just predicted the future.
Question 6AA. Does predicting the future based on assumptions contradict the humanistic view?
The humanistic view does not come into play in this. The humanistic view is saying that you are taking that you are pro-human. Science is merciless. Science doesn't care about humanity. Science is just facts.
If you believe that what you experience in your 5 senses are the only things that exist, how can you try to predict the future since you can't see into the future?
Don't believe that those stuff we can observe with our 5 senses are the only things that exist. No scientist does. Check the links below, and I have given you a lot of stuff that we cannot observe with the 5 senses.
6AB. If not, how so?
Already gave
They
it.
give 100% infallible, non-opinionated empirical proof on how it doesn't and how you can.
Already did it.
If I say what I believe in is an assumption, nothing changes. I believe in the designer of the Bible and the Gospels of Christ.
You're right. Nothing changes by saying you believe in the sand god. Nothing has changed by saying that you believe in a man whom the only evidence of is written in books of people who we don't know of, who we don't know who they are, I should say, that never claim to have met him. That's what you're saying. And I'm saying I believe in the evidence that we have collected over the last 100 years and has been and we have worked to disprove time and again, and we have weeded out the things that are not true to the land have built upon the things that we understand to continue our understanding of the universe. You know, you saying what you have is based on assumption really doesn't change anything, but science does. The fact we are talking on the internet, the fact I am talking on the internet through this webcam from my laptop is from science, not a sand deity who was interested in the welfare of a single nation of individuals called the Israelites. And not a man who probably never lived.
I believe the Bible for its valid history that even concurs with secular history.
You know what? Feel free to do some research on that, because most of the history in the Bible is laughable.
For the fulfilled prophecies.
Give one. I'm not the first person to say that, and I know I won't be the last, because there are none. No prophecy in the Bible that can actually be traced to since before the time that it happened without having to stretch greatly. The great last one I heard was there will be reports of wars, people saying that we are living in the end times. Wow, mankind has wars. Whoever would have thought it? That's a prophecy from the Bible. But we're going to have wars. Another one. People will come and say that these things are not true. Wow. People questioning the beliefs of your Bible. Not everyone, even back then, believed in the Bible. The Israelites and the Jews and the Christians were a great minority in the world.
And also, for the stories and knowledge of this book. If science claims their findings are assumptions, it wouldn't have scientific data anymore. It would have assumptionific data.
Okay. You know, I can hardly grant you that. If science was based on assumptions, it would be assumptionistic data. It's a funny word, and I like the sound of it. I can agree with that. Thankfully, it's not, and I have provided you where it's not. Feel free to do the research. You know what? Feel free to try to poke holes in the math. I meant way above my head, but hey, you may be the person to show why it's not true and to show that God really exists. I doubt it because there are many smart people who have, but I'm not going to completely throw out hope on you. But what I can say, though, is we are always trying to find the truth. Scientists are. I am. That's why I'm on here. That's why I continue to talk to creationists. That's why I continue to expand my mind. I do not close my eyes and say God did it. And that's not assumption.
I don't care if that's not a word. You don't like it too. Which brings us to our final question. This is question 7. If you had to show me one empirically, 100% factual, non-opinionated proof for evolution, show it with absolute, solid, unarguable, infallible proof now. Video and text responses are accepted. Shalom.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to take that challenge. Down below, I'm going to give you several things. I'm first of all going to send you, or give to you, the genes of evolution, or evolution of genes. I'm going to show you how genes have evolved. I am going to give you fossil records. Now, I know these come under great dispute. However, I'm either going to be there all the same. I am also going to give you current examples, stuff we have physically observed, and you can feel free to check any of this out. In fact, I implore you to check any of this out. I really do. Well, I know I was going to say there was an angry rant at the end of this video. It turned out to be all through it, because I'm just mad after reading this, after hearing this. Again, if I'm wrong, and if you actually do check out this knowledge, if you do check out the information I am giving you, if you do try to improve your mind instead of closing your eyes and screaming God did it at the top of your lungs, I will be greatly impressed. I will have a greater respect for you and a greater respect for humanity. More than that, it will validate again in my mind why I do this. You know why I go on these vibes? No. But somehow I don't think you will. Somehow I think that you're probably just going to close your eyes, plug your ears, and say God did it all. You know, the thing that's getting me the most angry about this is when I first saw your video, I checked out your channel. I normally do before I make a response video, before I even consider it. For the most part, I find that it's just people who are wanting to troll and or make people question their beliefs. So I'm okay with that. But I find that for the most part, they're not willing to question theirs, or it doesn't seem to be. That they've made up their minds or something like that. But your video on your channel, most of the videos you have up are calling for equality, or saying that a man or a woman, the fact that you have addressed both is remarkable, should both be treated equally, should both be given the same amount of respect for what they are. That it doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Indian, if and then I see these videos from you, and I see you saying truthfully that I'm not as smart as you because I don't believe in Jesus. That I'm worthy of your contempt because I don't believe in your God. Because I don't believe in any God. I'm really at a loss to explain that. the level of sadness I feel, the level of hypocrisy that I have when I look at what you've said. You know, we are grateful to be living in America. I think any person who lives in a free country is, whether it's America, England, France. You know, the fact that we have the freedom to be able to practice the religions that we want to practice. And there have been atheists who gave their lives so that you could have that freedom from the time of the Revolutionary War on. Think about that. Atheists gave their lives so that you could have the freedom to practice your religion. And so that even though I don't practice your religion, we are still bound within the fraternity of being Americans. And that, I think, is what gets me the most mad and the most sad about all this. I am the prophet of atheism, wargokeith, and I am signing off.